Okay, good evening. In this lesson, we'll be looking at a walkthrough on how to create a website from scratch to the final version. So we have a template we have gotten online. There are several websites where you can pick templates. You have Template Monster. You can just Google free templates, or if you can also purchase templates online that you can use to modify to fit into what you want to design. So I have this client. He wants to design a a website. He's a photographer, and what he wants is to design something for his company. We'll come up with the logo and everything like that. We don't have that yet, but this is what we have. And one of the things I mentioned, while we were starting this program, is that everything online is HTML. So the first thing we need to do is to pull this site down, pull it down, and then work on each of the pages, because all the source code is on the internet. If you just is online, there's nothing to hide there. Everything is there. You could just pick it and tweak it to whatever you need. So if you come here, you could just do view source code. This is the source code. Now Firefox has helped us to format this. You can see the formatting it has done the indentation. This way it makes it easy for us to read and what have you. So everything responsible for the site is here. Even though there are other things that we might not have talked about, in terms of JavaScript, like that, so we can ignore that. We'll still get to JavaScript down the line. So we don't need to go in details about what the page does. What we want to do is to have a copy of this page on our desktop or on our system, so that we can start tweaking, so we can start changing things. We can change fonts, we can change pages to mimic what it is that we want based on the client's requirements. So this is just a template. This will not be the total thing. This is not the name of the client. You can then put the name of the client, make adjustments as you wish. So the first thing you need to do is to download the page. Notice the page is in HTML, so you can actually save the entire page as HTML on your system and load it from there. So let's start and do save as. So I'm going to create a new project, and let's put that project on our desktop. Let's see, and so let's call it temp1, and we'll save it as web page and HTML only. So we have we can save complete, but it won't save at HTML. So we can try the two type. So let me do web complete to show you what it is and how it's going to save our file. So we can then go to the desktop. So this is what we have. So because you say complete, it gives you a kind of, so if we go to the temp that we have there, so the name of the file is temp.html, and because it contains other file, it's created temp1.file. So this is responsible, Firefox responsible to deciding what it's doing. But what we're interested in is that we want to create it inside temp1 folder. So we create our new folder, which is temp1, and we drag all these two files inside it. So we just call it temp, more like template. So inside it we have our file. So if you should open this file in the browser, it should just have majorly all the things that is in the site. You might notice picture changes, so we'll get to that later. So because those things might be loaded through other mechanism, so that's why it might not come up. And again, by the way, you won't end up using the picture because this might be copyright to the template owner. So we just use what it is you can use. So notice the address. This is on your local system, while this is on your is on the browser, on the internet. So you have this way. You've been able to successfully created the template, by yourself. So if you click on all these ones will still point to the internet. Notice that it's pointing to the internet because you have to save each of the pages separately or differently. So this is the first page we have. This is the first page we're going to be working with now. Notice we've not bring in Visual Studio Code inside here. The folder we're going to be working with is temp. So we go to Visual Studio Code. We want to bring it in. So we'll come in here and we can open folder. So we navigate it on our desktop. So we look for temp, and that's our document. So you have the index, or rather the temp file, which I'm going to rename to index. So I'm going to explain all this code you are seeing here. We're going to have full explanation of them and you're going to understand what is going on. So this is a template. By the way, you didn't design this from scratch. If you design this from scratch, so many things you are not going to, you're not going to do, or some things you are going to do. So this is someone else's code that they did by themselves. So I'm going to change this to index because our first file name should be title index. And I'm going to leave this is the temp files. These temp files are documents that the index file makes use of. So notice all the images, all the JavaScript, all the CSS, that the document made use of. And this is done automatically when you did save as using Firefox. Firefox saved all these things for you inside these temp files. And these are required to make sure that, the font is showing, the styling is properly done, and what have you. So I'm going to explain the code from beginning to the end. God help me. Okay, so let's start. First of all, I don't like the name temp1 file. So let's give it a proper name and call it assets. So immediately you call it, you change it to something else. There will be issues here. Because if you look at the reference, wherever you are using those files, notice even from here, notice the file is being referenced as temp1 file because that's the way we saved it. What do I want to do with this temp1 file? I want to rename it to assets. That way it's the naming is better than just calling it temp1 file. So I'm going to rename everything that is temp1 to assets. First of all, I will start by doing that here. I don't know if on Visual Studio Code we do auto rename for us, but let's see. So Visual Studio Code didn't do that. I think it's not doing that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find all temp1 files and rename it. So there's a quick find here, and I will do rename. So I'll just make it very fast. So I'll find all. So that's Control F or Alt D to find all, and I rename it with assets. So it makes it more easier. So that way you have everything renamed like this. And we'll still go deeper in doing our cleanup. What I mean by cleanup is that CSS files are supposed to be kept separately from image files, from JavaScript files. That way you have orderliness, you have proper housekeeping done. So instead of having all the images, all the JavaScript, all the CSS in one place, you could actually have them in different places. That way you could find what you're looking for easily. So we've not done anything special, we just did renaming. Before we go far, let's test that our site is going through. We can do the live server, which is here. We can pop out the live server. So running the live server, it's coming up. So the live server is on port 5550. Okay, so that's our live server. but I'd rather show it on Firefox. Okay, so that's our live server, and this is what we have. Notice that the images are still showing. This is because we did proper naming. We have been able to do the normal adjustment of the name, so that's working fine. The next thing we need to do is I said I was going to read all the entire code one after the other. So and the line of code, everything is total of 581, which is not that bad. Very impressive. Okay, so you are already used to classes. This is for styling. We skip that. You know what the head is all about. This is title. So I won't change this now because I don't want to disclose the client's name yet. So this will be the client's name, and it will just be, let's say, welcome to the company name. Company name photography. That will be what will be there. Then this is very important. This metadata is a way for you to determine the scaling when you are viewing it, using mobile phone. So that's what this one is all about. There will be a separate video for head, HTML head, where we will explain, other things that you put in your HTML head. So this is used for icon. This is for icon. If you have special icon for a website, we also mentioned this in when we're talking about head. So notice Firefox has this icon, and notice the icon on top here. There's icon for each of the websites, so you can specify icon for the project you are working with. It makes it a little bit more fancy and specific. Okay, let's move on. So let's go to the coding. So that's the icon part. So the next thing is the CSS. All this one are for the styling. So I want us to further categorize all the styling into one specific folder. You notice Bootstrap here. We'll talk about Bootstrap. Is a whole class on its own. So we'll talk about that when we get to Bootstrap. It's a framework for making your site look nicer. So we'll get to Bootstrap. After CSS is Bootstrap. So one of the things we want to do is to properly make our code look, this asset cleaner, because everything dumping on assets is not clean. So we can create CSS folder in the assets. We also create JavaScript, that's JS. I think there's already JS available. So we'll go ahead and create images, IMG, in the asset. So what I want to do is I want to move all CSS, anything that is CSS, I want to move it inside CSS folder. So I could just even predict that I'm going to move all this one. So I'm going to start writing all this one and putting them inside that folder. So this is the code I'm adjusting. So I'm going to move all the CSS into that folder. Remember when I told you that when you start writing CSS code, your CSS code are going to be external. You won't necessarily write them in your style element. The reason why we have them in style element is for the purpose of training, so that we're not going back and forth to explain what is going on. So we're moving our code. So when you go into, let's just pick one, for example. Let's pick one of the CSS, for example. Let's use this one. So you can see that this is a class. Most of the time they work with classes. These are class, and these are something else. We'll get there. So most of the time you will see classes, you will see ID, and you see combination of classes and other things in your CSS styling file. Okay, I think those are the 5 CSS page we have. So that's always CSS. Let's move down to the next thing that we have here. So this is just a conditional statement to ignore Internet Explorer 9. Okay, this is for Google Analytics. It's for making sure that it's just for Google Analytics, nothing special. So I'm going to remove it from the code because Google Analytics is used to check how people are visiting your site. So that's not needed for this. That's for another course entirely. So this is still part of Google Analytics. So Google does search engine optimization, and also making sure that you monitor the traffic on your website. That's what those things are for. And I'm not really sure what this one also does. So I'm gonna ignore it for now. I'm gonna delete it. So all these comments not needed, remove it. Okay, we are done with the head. So we'll go to the body of the code. This site made use of Bootstrap, so I won't be able to explain what is going on here. But looking at it literally, you'll be seeing, we are making use of class, a lot. And they make use of class, and the reason for those classes for proper styling. They use those classes so that they can style those elements. Imagine if this class was not here, you have to write a whole style here, which will make the whole thing not fine at all. So what we want to do is to look at the code and start making adjustments to the code. I said I was going to review everything, but let's go to the adjustments. And what this person has done was to make it very easy, in terms of putting comments. Oh, this is for the sidebar, this is for the logo, and things like that. So that way it's easy for anybody that wants to make adjustments to quickly make adjustments. This is Annie MC Query Photography, so I can just call it client. And if we should go to the site now, we would have seen that would have changed to what we'll change it to now. Where's our Firefox? Okay, we've messed up things. Now we've messed up with something, but let's check what we've messed up with. So what you can do quickly is to undo what you've done, but I'm guessing it will be inside the CSS. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we didn't move this style here, we didn't move it in. So let's move the style in. So the style was not showing, so the style now has been moved. Let's check with our Firefox. So now it's okay. Notice the clients that we change, clients photography. So this is how you start making adjustments to your templates and making it match what it is that you want. The last time, there was a time we did picture editing using Illustrator. So those are just one example. Now this is you going into the code actually and making changes to it yourself. So what we're working with the other time was the logo part. So if you have the logo of the client, you put the logo of the client, the name of the client, then you start putting the menu that the client wants. So let's try and play with the menu that we should add there. So these are home, about, services. So I think I know what the client wants. Let's go in and look at the menu. Let's continue reviewing the code. This is the star CSS. We are not working here yet. So let's continue the review of the code. So from here we have where it says, the menu. That's the menu on the left. So I'm sure you are versatile with some of these things. The URL and the LI, that's on that list to create a list, and this is a link. You can notice where the is linking to. Ignore the online where it's linking to. By the time you create all your pages, you will link it properly. Now, since the index file is the home page, you can just say, just link to index file. Don't worry. By the time we create the about page, what will you do? You will just link to about page. That's what this is all about. But now we've not created the about page, but let's just link it like that. So if you click it, it won't really do anything. It won't go to, because the about page is not created. But let's just name it as you should go to the about page. So this part, okay, we have the home, we have the about. In the about, I'll just call it portfolio, or I'll say profile. So profile. Then in the services, I can leave it as services. You want to have gallery, because all these arts people or photographers, they normally have gallery where they display their work. And inside the gallery, you notice it has submenu. And what is responsible for creating this kind of submenu is JavaScript. Of course, you can use CSS to do some of those menus. So let's even check it out. So if I click on gallery, so notice the menu drop down there, so, and that's if you have options to have different form of galleries, So but for now, we'll just make sure that it's just one gallery. I don't want to do too much work. You don't want to do too much stuff when you are doing some things like this. So I'm gonna remove the submenu feature. I'm not interested in submenus. I can just delete this whole thing and delete this entire thing, but I still want the gallery. So I'll duplicate the feedback and rename it as gallery. So I can just rename this to gallery. So once the page is ready, the page will go in there and it will. So this one will be feedback. Of course, feedback is where people provide feedback. So there's no blog on the site, no blog. And feedback is the same thing as contact us. So I'm just gonna put contact us here. Contact. It's gonna be contact. The other thing when you're designing websites is you should know the pages that that are needed and the pages that are together. Very important. I mentioned this to you last time that website has pattern. There are patterns to their design. So let me take you to the live version of the template so you see what I mean. So feedback majorly is for people to post reviews of what has happened, and in feedback it's still the same way of like contact us, because you want to get to the company and say, hey, this is what we think should happen. So feedback and contact us most of the time are together. So but may I just use contact us like that. So contact contains the contact information of the company or of the client, and there's always form at the bottom to pass on the information. So I use contact us and feedback as one. That's my own kind of MO, my own design. But you can, if you want to separate, you can see that it gives more work, gives you more work. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say for feedback. Feedback is a client you have worked for. Maybe he contacted you through your site. So, after doing the job, he or she is impressed. Feedback is like coming back to give a report.
Yeah.
What you've actually done. Okay, so if you're saying you're putting feedback and contact together, that means there will be a portion where they are going to leave feedback and also where they're going to contact you as well.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, well, okay, let me start by saying this. Most of the time, feedbacks are not necessarily added to the website anymore, as in we don't really have it unlike before again. So feedback has been faded. The future on website, if you go to websites, you won't see feedback. What you just see is testimony, and is what the owner of the company posts as testimony is the testimony. They don't open it up like this, like, okay, post your feedback. So most of the time they don't do like, they just put contact us. So imagine you have issues, just go and put it there, contact us. So it's not open. Like, look at this feedback now. It's whatever you put anything here now, both good or bad, it will show on the site, and people will get to say, oh, okay, so this product is bad or something like that. So you want to kind of control the flow. That's why they put contact us or feedback in the same place. So if what you are saying, the message is like a feedback, oh, I enjoyed your product, then whosoever is receiving that message classifies it as a feedback. If it's someone if the person is filling a contact form and they say, oh, I want to know more about your product, so the person receiving that message classify it as product review or something. So that's the way I look at it. So but it's still valid this way anyhow you do it. But what why I'm talking about this is to reduce your work, because the client will tell you they want everything. Give me everything, I want everything. So most of the time I don't put feedback as a full page in a job like this. I don't put a feedback as a full job, that this is a full, because each page will cost you time and resources. So you want to put that in perspective when you are designing websites. Any page you are doing is expensive or is time consuming. This home page that we're going to design now, all these thing you're going to put here, you're going to think about it. You're going to think about what to type here. You're not going to copy what is here. We're doing this website together, don't worry. You're going to see the end product. Whatever is here, this person say, why there is perhaps a provision where photography can let us, all this thing that is written here, it's not going to be what you're going to write there, because that will be copyright. stuff. You're gonna read the memo of the client or the company profile of the client and bring out content and create your own content. But what we are copying from this site is the theme, more like the placement of items. Oh, okay, picture on the right, menu on the left. So that's what we're kind of copying, and this kind of effect. That's all this picture will go, because this picture is supposed to display the work of the photographer. So any page you design is key. So people charge per page. Some people charge by feature. So the best way to charge is by page. So if I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages for you, I can charge you per number of pages that I'm doing. So if you want more pages, say okay, I want like for example now I'm not going to do a blog page for this site. It's also going to be an e-commerce website, meaning we're going to be adding Paystack, integrating with Paystack. So there's a part where people will be able to purchase item. We're going to do that, and we're going to put it on video as well. So the part, and that's why I was creating those pages that I've aligned, and these are the pages. Homepage. What homepage does is to introduce everybody, or to introduce the visitor to the site. So from the homepage, you will see snippets of the products. You will see what the company is all about. You are going to see. Let's even look at the live, so you see what I'm talking about. So this is the homepage. From the homepage, you get to see the mission or the catchy term of the company. Then you're going to see their products. This is like the products. It's like, okay, this is what they do. Then you're going to see how you can contact them. So that's what you normally see on homepage. Then in each of those, on that homepage, there should be an action that will take you to services. That's why you can see that these ones are linkable. So here, if it's a product that you buy or sell, you should be able to purchase immediately from the homepage, instead of you going deeper into services and then looking for something to buy. So in your mind, or when you are designing this page, by the time we start designing this page, you will see how it will be different from this. What we are copying here is the fact that it's color black, and then these are the effects we are copying. On the bottom, on the top, the logo is going to be on top here. The menu is going to be here. We're going to have social media handles. On the home page, we're going to have a big picture like this, and in the middle, they're going to be, it's going to talk about the logo of the company and things like that. Then here, we're going to come up with like a catchy word, like a slogan. It's not going to be a slogan because this is more lengthy. So it's going to be like the mission of the company. It's going to be here. Then here is going to be like the products, hot selling products. We don't want to display all the products. Imagine if he has 20 products. You can't display all on the home page, but you can in some pages. But you just want to capture, the major 4 or 6. You can see that it's in a grid form, so you can just do 6. Then the next thing can then be another thing. So if the person has different category of products, so you can capture, the categories, one row for one category, another row for another category. Then you go on top of something else. You can even bring in testimony here, feedback that people are talking about. So the home page summarizes the website. The homepage summarizes the website. The next thing is about the company. And because this is a photography company, it's more of like a profile of the person, because the person is a professional. Photographers are professional. Of course, there are large scale photographers that are company based. So their own MO is different from this. Their own template is different from this. So as a photographer, it's more of like a personal thing. It's on you. So that's why I call it profile. And it's great. You can do about us. This is just nomenclature. So you want to know about the person. On the profile page, let me see what they have under the about us. If I click on about us, of course you will see the person, right? And this is how we're going to also do our template. So this person have a statement, and then there's a signature kind of a thing. So for this person, he has a team. If the person I'm dealing with doesn't have a team, I'll just have it like him alone, and what he's good at, I will just spell that. So this is for person that has a team, and then you can see the effects. So all these effects, we're going to copy that style or use something better, and that's it. This is about the page. This is a page. This is a page, because every page you have to design it uniquely. And you saw when we were writing the code, we were referencing the page that we've not created. Imagine, they just gave you, unlimited number of pages that you should go and do that, So that's why you charge per page. And that way, when a client add new page to it, it makes sense and add money to your pocket. The next thing is the services. The services is what you are selling. We'll get, by the time, as I mentioned to you, once the client gives us all the information, or you will see how we're going to put the services. So it can be services or products, depending on what it is that you offer. Services, you don't sell anything physical. So whatever it is, it's going to be there. So for photography, their products are kind of different, that they offer. So you're going to see all those products there. And gallery is like the past works that this has been done. Again, I don't want to do. You can see this one is 2 pages. Gallery has 2 design. There's this masonry gallery. So I will ask the client which one do they want. They have to pick one. I can't do 2. You can't do 2 style. So it's either you want standard gallery, where we just put it like this, and then when you click, it gets to expand. Anybody looking at it will look at it. Or you have this method, which is masonry or whatever, where it can pick based on the design of the picture. I think this one is more difficult to achieve. I will just focus on doing this one, because the thing is, you want to, as a starter like this, you want to start gradually. So we've covered feedback, we've covered contact. The last one is blog. Blog is a little bit complex, and most of the time, if you've seen websites, once they click on the blog, it takes them away from the site and goes to, what's this app that does blogging? This blogging application. So we'll also do that. We'll cover that. You can design. Blog requires you to do backend. If you want to do blog manually, you can do manually, as in writing code, or you just take it to, what's that blogging platform? Okay, there's a blogging platform which you can connect to. You don't need to design anything. Once you click on it, it will just go to the blog platform, and it will handle all the blog. You can choose all the theme you want. So the client is not subscribing for blog, so we'll not be using blog in this system. So let's go over excuse me, let's continue with the coding. Let's go and continue to see where we are. So this is the menu part. This is what I was talking about, the menu section. This is the menu section. So you can see the pages we are designing is home page, about us page, services, gallery, contact page, and that is it. So the next thing is site footer. Site footer is this part here. That's this one here. So we then have the ability for us to display all the social media handle of the client, and it's as easy as, let me show you. It's as easy as this. And that's one thing with template. Template just give you, so you just, if the guy does not have Instagram, for example, you just remove Instagram. So I'm sure the guy will not have this 500, what's it called, this one here, this 500 px, because I don't even know what it is, or this Denmark. So let's say the guy has Twitter. So let's do Twitter. So Twitter. So let's remove this one, and let's see if that will show as Twitter handle. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's not even coming up. Okay, so let me show you. It was coming up before, so let's fix this. And the reason why it's not coming up is let's fix it, even though we'll still go into the explanation later. The reason why it's not coming up is because it's Bootstrap. So this is Bootstrap, and again, I said we're not doing Bootstrap now. So Bootstrap is here, and everything for Bootstrap, we moved the CSS into here. So while moving the CSS, we've as well need to do something about the fonts. These are the fonts for CSS. So the way the font has been referenced has changed, and that's why it's not showing correctly. So let me see if I can adjust it here. Let's see if I can quickly adjust it. So I want to see how it was referenced in so that I can correct it. Okay, this is taking too long. Let me check. Okay, so this is how it came in. So it's coming, there's a folder called web fonts. So it's coming through web fonts folder. Okay, it's not here. So we won't really bother about that now because this will take our time. By the time we start talking about it's part of CSS, but I don't want us to go into that now. So these changes that we made were supposed to allow us to see the Twitter icon show right in here, but you notice that we removed the fourth one, so that's not showing right now. Okay, so this is just showing off the what's it called? This is showing off the index page, how to do the home page. Index page is still known as the home page. The next thing we need to do, let me see if this one, okay, this one too was not showing this part. This one too was not showing this part. Okay, let's continue and see what else I can show you before we finish. We review it at the bottom and we'll move on. Okay, so we'll come back to the icon and I'll show you how to bring it in. This is Font Awesome. Font Awesome allows you to bring fonts into the system. By the time we talk about Bootstrap, we'll talk about Font Awesome. So let me show you the site. So Font Awesome, as I've said, allows you to bring custom fonts into your application, your website. So you can see all these fonts that was used here. So this is what is responsible for it, you know. And so that's just it. And how to bring it in, you can see how easy it is to bring fonts in. You can just use this class. So if you do fab fa Facebook, it will bring Facebook icon up. That's the way it works. Let's even try and let's bring it in. Let's do it. Let's bring Font Awesome in. So let's download Font Awesome. So on going to the code, because this is Font Awesome coming in, you can see that it's supposed to be inside web fonts. So it's missing. You can see when we downloaded this project from using Firefox was unable to understand and download this. So let's go and download Font Awesome and we'll put it under web fonts. Okay, going back to Firefox, let's go and see where we'll get the download button. Even though there is a paid and free version, so start for free. I don't know if it's still free anymore. Yeah, let me just do download. Okay. Okay, free for web. So that's finished downloading. We have it here. So this is the web font. Notice that web font folder. I just copy it and go to our project, desktop, temp. We'll put it inside assets. Remember what I said about assets? That's where you put all the things that is, not related to HTML. So you put assets there, you put your HTML, or rather you put your CSS, you put your images. Later we're going to put all these images into this place. I'm just taking it step by step so that I don't confuse everything. So now we have our web font here. So you can see all the fonts available, FA brands, FA and all these things. I've moved them here. Let's now go to see the code and see if it's picking it. So from CSS, it's supposed to go back one step and pick web fonts and pick this. So let's see if it will work. Let's go to this and test out if it will work. So it's working. So you can see that one has been fixed. So that's how you use that. We will cover this in Bootstrap. So we now have this. So if this guy has Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, let's add LinkedIn. So let me just show you how to add LinkedIn, for example. And the way you know their name is just from here. You can just search any font that you can pick from here. You can use their name. So I've been doing this a lot, so I know their names that the system will use. So you can see LinkedIn, for example. You can see how to bring LinkedIn, FA brands, FA, LinkedIn. This is how to specify LinkedIn, and you're good to go. So let's go to the code and put LinkedIn. What's code? Okay, we have here. So we leave this guy alone. We come here. After Twitter, I just duplicate this entire code and just do. I can maintain. I think this FAB is for Font Awesome brand. It's like a short form. So just leave it like that and do LinkedIn. So let's test it and see if it works, and it should work. So you can see our LinkedIn there, and then you can put the person's LinkedIn page directly. So remember, when you are doing your own too, all these things, you will see it, and that's why I told you that we're going to review this together. So when you are doing your own profile page too, all these things are already there, and the way I'm showing you, that's the way it is. If you go to the code now, you see it. That's the way it is there. And of course, I'm here if you are stuck in any of the places, we'll review it together. Okay, so we stop here. Let me change this. This is the guy that designed the theme. If you like the theme, you can go and buy it online. So where was I going to? Yeah, let's go to the code and make some more adjustments. Okay, we are done with the branding. So you can do this. You can call it clients by process guy. It's for the client, but designed by process guy. Then the next thing that follows is, now you can see the use of ID. You see the reason why they use ID here. The word I said ID was. ID is unique, meaning you will not have another home again. Or there won't be another thing called home. It's only one home that you want to have. But you can have so many anime main. You can have so many anime hero. You can have so many of these, but when you use ID, you are referencing it that it's only one that you have should be there. And sometimes styling still comes in, which I mentioned that we should only style inside the CSS, but sometimes you need to style outside, specifically. And the reason why you need to style in this form is because there are reasons why you style like this. Maybe you need it at that moment, or it is generated by JavaScript. JavaScript will style it for you. So these are the reasons why style come like this. I think most of this styling was generated by JavaScript, and we'll get to JavaScript later. So there are things that make things easy for you. So let me give you an example of what I mean. There are things on the internet, like instead of you creating a slider, look at this slider, for example. Look at this one. This effect, or this gallery. Instead of creating this gallery by yourself, there are actually JavaScript code that has been written already. You just drag and drop it. So in that case, I think that's what happened on the home screen. There are JavaScripts that create a slider, as in a slide. I think it will change to the next picture now. Yeah. So there's a JavaScript already created for this. So instead of you writing code for doing this, you just go online and pick a slider. Once you have it, you just point to the image, and then to just do it for you. You don't need to worry. We'll get to do all those things, together. So that's what, and I think that's why this code was generated manually, because JavaScript, did this code for us. So let's go ahead and change the picture. Now look at, this is CSS, pure CSS, and I'm sure you are familiar with few of them. We are still in CSS. You're familiar with a few of them. You're familiar with this, not with this, but so let's go ahead and make changes. Now it's referencing to 01, and there's 01 here, even though it might not be the 01 that. Okay, let's use this 01, right? JPEG. Let's reference to it on the slider. How do we get here? notice that we are inside index. You have to know where you are. You are inside index. How do you get to this place? To get to this place, you have to enter assets. The next thing is 01. That's all. That's how you get there. So we can give it a test, and go to this, and let's look at it. You can see that it has changed. And this is how we bring in the guy's picture. So it's changing to the next one, which is blank. So you can bring as many picture as you want. This is the picture. So if the client sent you, oh, this is the picture I want from the home page, then you put their picture there. And of course, the picture has to be in the right resolution, for a template, so that it won't go out of place. And so let's look for where the second picture is loading from. Let's go to, so we've been able to do this. So you can see what are the things that are specifying the height and the width. Okay, this is the second picture. So you can see this one handles the first illustration. So you can do this. So the second one is still here. So let's just do the same thing we did here. Assets, images, or rather, no images, just assets, O2, direct. Let me see if it has the third picture. Okay, no third picture, just 2 pictures. So imagine if you want to do it, make it to have 3 pictures. You just duplicate this. You just do this, and you move and you create the next batch. That's how interesting these things are. So let's go ahead and see what we have, what picture is showing. So that's it. This is the picture showing. So you can see that it's becoming different from the original site. By the time we start making adjustments, so let me change this one now. What is written here? I just copied that, and I want to find it so I can make replacement. This is what is written here. So I will just rename it. Let me write for the first one. I will say client 1 header, client 1 header. I'll write the second one, client 2 header. So you have to be creative, because these are the things you are going to put for. Okay, so this is client 2. Let's look for the first one. Okay. So you have to be creative and use something catchy. So because the template you are working with, they just put anything. The text is just, whatever they want to put in the text, that's what they put there. So you need to put something creative, something that will get the site going, that's related to what is happening. So you can just maybe put the name of the picture that you snapped there, or something, whatever it is. It can just be, or it can be the type of photography or the concept of photography that was used to capture the the scene, the shot. That could be like that, or it can just be no text like that. So whatever works, can just be there. Okay, now that we are done with the they call this hero. I mentioned it some time ago. This big banner stuff. There are so many types. When we come to Bootstrap, we are going to see the so many types that we have. So we have this, and the next thing we want to deal with is this section here. So this part here allow people to start reading the content of your website and start knowing what it is that you really do. So most of the thing that comes here most of the time is your mission or your vision, for example, for the site. So most of the time I put the vision of the company here. You can split it into 2. Put mission on left, put vision on the right, or put vision on the right, put mission on the right. That's what I might end up doing. So it depends on the content of the person. So we're still expressing the content. By the time the content comes, we'll start loading it and the site will start coming up. The next thing that follow, we don't have the product yet. Once we have the product, we'll start changing this. So let me show you how this is done. Or let's go to the next one here to see it in the code. Let's see how it looks like in the code. So if I come here, so this is after the li, and everything there. Inside this is where they do overlay, they do a lot of things. These are all Bootstrap. So by the time we start doing Bootstrap, you understand. Okay, so this is the ones that is in charge, that is doing the next and previous. So about me, section. So this person did a nice job of commenting. So the comments will also help you to read your own code. And that's, I mentioned that, you have to write your code in such a way that is readable. You will come back to read your own code. Okay, so here is where they put the details, where I said I want to change to mission and vision and what have you. And this way, you have the signature of the person. So you can put whatever thing you want to put here, and you're good to go. The next part is the gallery section, which I said I'm going to change to services, or I can have the gallery. In fact, I will have the gallery last, not first. It's a choice. So you can have it that, okay, you want to sell your product first before they see the example of how your product looks like, or you want them to see something first, then they get to see gallery. So the same thing, you will get to see, you notice that the table was not used. You will know how to put things in a grid format like this, how to put objects in a grid. So these are things you learn in CSS, how to make image conform like this, how to put them in this perfect shape. You see everything is in a nice grid form. So we'll get to that in CSS. Okay, let's keep going. And that's it. They are done. Oh, this is to show more pictures. Okay, that's nice. That plus was to load more picture. So if you have, and that's on JavaScript, to load more pictures in it, and that's all. So I think our next class, we're not going to work on this on our next class. Our next class will be advancing on our CSS. The last thing we did on CSS was the introduction, which is more of like the selector. So the next thing we want to do on our next class is understanding the box model. The box model is very key to understanding CSS itself. So once you understand the box model, you will know, you will get to understand everything. So like everything is a box. That's what the box model is all about. So just quick introduction of what the box model is. So you see, I'm putting my mouse on this link, and what happened is showing us the box model. Everything is just like the way everything is HTML on the web page. So every element is a box. That's the word. Every element is a box. So anything you click, it's a box. So you can see that it's representing in that form. So, and in a box you have what? You have margin, border, padding, the content. So all this will be explained in our next class. Thank you for staying to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on bell notification in order to be notified when we release new videos. See you in the next one.